Hi, welcome back to Waxing On. It's Monday, and of course, Monday means jazz. Now, this week's going to be a little different. I've got some unusual stories, I've got some interesting people, and we're going to change things up a little bit this week with the jazz one. And I'm going to have some records that are very, I'm going to say rare. And the reason they're rare is they're free ones that came along with a publication. Back, I'm going to say, around 2000 or so, there was a magazine out called Jazz Improv. Came out quarterly. Great magazine. Lots of writing in there. These pictures on the back, you'll recognize a few of those people. See Gordon Goodwin and Maynard Ferguson. We've got Louis Armstrong. And the magazine had a lot of articles, record reviews, as well as, you see it here, some lesson pages. I mean, jazz improv, yes, we'd have to talk about some of it, and analysis of different songs, how they were written, what kind of things were going on in those songs. So there was some real educational material in here as well. The book, I found it a little expensive. I mean, this was back, 20-some years ago, and it was $17.95 in Canada, $14.95 in the U.S. And you figure 20 years ago, that was a good chunk of change. But one of the things that came with them, it all came in plastic wrap. Usually, you got yourself a couple of nice CDs with it. And these are the two that came with the Louis Armstrong set. Yeah, and I know you look at it and say, oh, that's the same one. But it really isn't. Again, I don't think these CDs were for sale anywhere. They were put together just to come out with the magazine. And I'll give you some idea what we're looking at on who's playing on these to give you an idea what this kind of giveaway was. Let's start with this one. Volume 7, number 1. And we've got, starting off with Mike Stern, guitar player, played with Miles Davis for a while. Chris McNutley, Eddie Daniels, great clarinet player. Lynn Arnott, Karen Blitz, Tony Kimrosi, Robin Ellman. Rodrigo Ferrari Nunes, Steve Herbertman, Mike Frost Project, Dave Berger and the Sultans of Swing, Mark Pender. Now, Mark Pender, you may recognize that name. That's one of the few I recognize on here because, I mean, really, I don't have a really broad collection of jazz, but I've got, I gotta say, a pretty eclectic one. Mark Pender was a trumpet player with the Max Weinberg Band when they were the house band for Conan O'Brien when he was in New York. So Mark Pender's got a tune on here as well and had a an album released. Now this is an enhanced CD. On here we've also got, you can listen to the tracks. We've got the booklets in here, including songs, solo transcriptions, practice exercises for all instruments. If you happen to have a computer that still takes one of these, you might be able to open that up and find a lot more interesting stuff, kind of a supplement to the magazine. Now again, this album I didn't recognize a lot of names, but again, it's fun that way because I get to go out and explore new people, get to hear what other bands are doing that I haven't been out and purchased albums for, or maybe just never had a chance to see live. And obviously up here, you don't get a lot on the radio. We don't really have jazz radio. So the CD was kind of a great opportunity to explore. Now, volume 2 that came with it, a few more things I recognize. We started out with John Faddis, who we featured quite a while ago on the show, playing trumpet with the group doing the Baron. We got Carl White, Nicole Pasternak, Dan McMillan, sorry. Who was sponsored by the Flip Oaks, who was playing the Wild Thing trumpet at the time. So Flip had sponsored him, and he's got a solo on here. Eddie Gomez, well-known performer. Peter Erskine, drummer. I remember we talked about him with Maynard Ferguson's band and a number of other groups. He's on here by Zildjian, sponsored his track on the CD. Eric Niemeyer. Now, he's the one that managed the magazine. He was the publisher. He was the driving force behind it. Also a track on here by Eric. Chris Cortez, Louis Armstrong doing Tiger Rag. Ellen Johnson, Inspiration. Robin Eubanks, again a name you might recognize, sponsored by the Yamaha Corporation. Eric Fraser, the Dukes of Dixieland. And I was looking for them at Dixieland time, but we ended up with the Barons of Basin Street. And that was a nice surprise too. Sonny Fortune, sax player, did a lot of work with Miles Davis just before he went into retirement for the first time. On here, trumpet was Joe Lovano. No, tenor sax, Eddie Henderson was trumpet on here. Richie Zellin. Again, a couple of very unique albums, not available for purchase, but came with the magazine. Now, can you get the magazine? No, I quit publishing back, I'm going to say around 2009. But I was online the other day, and it is available. There are some back issues. There's some used issues that you can buy through eBay. And most of them right down, they're just gently used. They have been read. Everything's pretty much intact. But what I do find with the eBay ones, and this is something to be cautious of, that I don't see any mention of the CDs that came with it. So if you go back there and say, I'd like to check this out, you find a magazine that you're interested in, and, some of the people look like someone you might want to listen to, check closely. Because the ones I looked at, the CDs were not listed as being included. It was strictly the magazine. And they were running around, $13, $14, and then about another $20 for postage. So it does get expensive. But it's a great magazine. I only had a couple issues of it. Like I say, it only came out quarterly, and the stores I was at were stores I went to, they didn't have it all the time. I was able to pick up 2 of them, and it was a great find. Next time I went back, I didn't see them in stock for forever. And to subscribe to them, it was expensive because, we were talking $17 for the book. So, you're looking at a good chunk of change for a year. Now, I do have another one. We'll do that next week. Another volume with 2 more albums featuring John Faddis and Clark Terry. I just wanted to kick it off with the Louis Armstrong one since these 2 both look the same. And it was a good introduction into the magazine. If you, I may have run them off quickly, but if you recognize the name, certainly there's lots of people on the streaming network. You can go back and give a listen to what they do. At the time this came out, computers weren't anywhere near that yet. So we didn't have an option on, checking out new performers. But there's some well-tested music here. There's some brand new stuff that I'd never heard of, and a chance to go back and take one of those streaming networks, punch the name in, and give a listen to what they're doing. And that was part of the idea of the magazine, too, to introduce people to a lot of new music. So that's it for Monday. The magazine, Jazz Improv, the free giveaway CDs with lots of great music. We'll see you on Wednesday, Classic Rock. Till then, everybody take care, stay safe. See you on Wednesday.